I got a red,
That's good.
I got a red light.
All right, I got a red light. All right, we'll call this meeting to order at 6:15. Has everybody taken a chance to look over our minutes from our last meeting? If so, do I hear a motion? That was our September 25th meeting.
I don't have those minutes, Mr. Chairman.
You have a copy?
Here we go. I think I got one here.
Wait a minute, maybe I do. I do. Pardon me.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, got a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, go down to number 3, financial report. Mr. Carl?
Yeah, in the DDA account, we've paid out some bills. The roof payment, the second and third payment, I guess that's the last payment, isn't it?
No, we have one more.
We got one more payment. Okay, so we've made the second and third payment totaling about $12,000. And we've got $38,835 in the account still. And we have yet to draw on the line of credit from the city, so.
We hadn't got a bill for the signage yet either, right?
Nothing's been taken out for the signage out of the DDA account.
Okay, that's right. We're on the wrong account.
Just the roofing and the consultant for the roof's the only thing's been paid recently.
Any question from Carl? All right, we'll move on down to number 4, downtown development. Old business. Is that yours, Mr. Christopher?
Yes, sir. I got 3 things under old business. The first is update on the Welcome Center. Speaking of the roof contract, we are, for the most part, they're done with the work. The last payment won't be dispersed until we get certificate of warranty from the manufacturer. The manufacturer has to issue that after they're satisfied that the roof has been installed properly. Then they'll issue a warranty. They won't receive their final payment until we receive that from the company, the manufacturing company. So we're just waiting for that. Let's how to put this nicely. Sometimes when you go bidding stuff out doesn't necessarily get you the desired outcome. So we've had to do a lot of rework on stuff that just wasn't satisfactory. So that's one of the reasons why it's taken a little bit longer than we had anticipated. Definitely having Chip Ward there helped out a lot. So making sure that stuff got done correctly. So since we're at a point now of closure for that, it's time to move on to the rest of the building. We're actually probably 60 days behind where I would want it to be at this point, but we were waiting. The staff knew that we were planning on hiring an engineer before the council and the public. That was kind of what we had talked about, and then we talked to the council about it, and we hired an engineer. So we were waiting because we thought that we would be able to get some help from the engineer on this project, and he and I met, and it's not necessarily in his wheelhouse or expertise. So then we reached back out to Rickman, who was the architect that did the original work for us, and talked to him about it. And he has basically what we need is a mechanical engineer to do bid specs, like what size HVAC system we need, what plumbing, where does plumbing need to be, the electrical demands that's going to be on the building. So he has someone that can work with him to do the bid specs for all the rest of the work. So in other words, we would put out a bid for the HVAC system based on their specs, that we receive the bids for that. Basically, we're doing the same exact thing we did on the roof for all the other components that need to be done on the building. And so I think this is a more it's a more work for us this way, but it will save us more money in the long run, as opposed to hiring a general contractor who's going to put some type of fee on top of that. So I think this is the best route for us to go to get it where it will come in with the most economically advantage for us. So And we've done work with Rickman before, and he's pretty good at what he does. So, I feel comfortable with the price that he gave us to do the rest of the work of the $3,500.
That's $3,500 to put together the bid specs that would go out and then
Yeah,
look
so
through the ones that came back.
yeah, so there'd be a bid spec for each thing that needs to be done for the electrical, for the HVAC, for the plumbing, for the other fixtures, windows, door fixtures, those type things. Paving, getting the parking lot paved, all of that stuff.
And the city's doing the plumbing from the road to the building, is that right?
Yeah, we talked with the Public Works Department. They're actually going to put in 2 water meters, because that other side we're going to rent out. So we're going to put in 2 water meters, and they're going to run the line from the road to the inside of the building for us.
How about HVAC systems? How many do you plan on having there? Just one big one or multiple small ones?
Well, I think that would be contingent on talking with the architect and the engineer, what would be the most beneficial for us, and then giving us feedback based on what the demands of the building are going to be. So then he'll be able to say, well, this will be sufficient for what you all want to do. So that would be kind of my thought. When we had people come out and kind of give us prices on stuff, most of the people that we talked to from the HVAC side said basically this is a brand, but those hibachi units, the little small ones where you just have a little wind unit that sits on the inside and then the compressors on the outside, would be sufficient for that end unit, but we probably need somewhere around a 3-ton unit for the rest of it.
A 30-ton unit?
3.
Okay. I thought, wow.
No.
What's the square footage in that building?
I'm not sure right offhand what the total square footage is. It's not a lot.
I think,
No, certainly. Reason I
I
asked
think the
is
roof's only
talking about-
1,000 feet, right?
What's that?
Isn't the roof 1,000 feet?
Yeah.
So thereabouts.
Yeah.
If we're gonna look at metering the water separately, wouldn't it be behoove us to also look at metering power?
Well, yeah, that whole unit will be a whole separate unit. So utilities and everything will be separate from the other unit.
So then we're looking at least 2 HVAC systems.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's why I said they're recommending the hibachi unit for the end. For us, it's a smaller cost for installation as opposed to having a whole big unit. They have a name for them. It's a split something. I can't remember what the name is. And then just a traditional unit for the other side, which will have the offices and the meeting space in it.
I thought we were going to have 2 of those units available for startup businesses. We only going to have 1 unit for that?
No, we've always just had one, that end unit, and the other was going to be office and meeting space, the other 2.
When you say end unit, you're talking about the
Yeah,
far end of the
there's
water-
3 bays. One bay will be for pop-up retail commercial use, and then the other 2 will be meeting office space, and then the welcome center will be in where the office is there.
Well, I certainly did miss that somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
Because I thought we were going to have 2 spaces available for startup businesses there.
No, it's always been just that one.
Okay.
So what do you need tonight? It's just a approval of hiring Rickman for that $3,500?
Yep.
Do we have a motion for that then?
I make a motion to do that, to hire Rickman to oversee the bids.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Motion and second, all in favor? That's all we need on that one, Chris?
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on.
So it might be, we've been trying to schedule time frame for that. If it's possible to get it before Christmas, we might want to consider doing a special call meeting so we can get these bids out and then have them come in sometime in January for our January meeting. So we'll just play it by ear, and I'll send out an email and kind of poll to see if we can do a special call from the board. 'Cause I don't want to Because if we wait till January, then it won't be until February till we look at all of them. It won't be until April or May before they actually start any work. So, we'll look at that and see what the schedulings look like. Just an update on the gateway directional signs. The biggest holdup on this project is we've been waiting for the city attorney. We have to get right-of-way acquisitions because all of these signs are going on private property. So we're getting all the proper documentation and legal documents in place for us to be able to maintain access to that once we do that. So the city attorney and his staff have been working on that since several months now. So we finally got to some finalization on that. Hopefully, we'll be working on those here by January at the latest. The sign company's ready to go. We just need to finish the due diligence on our part. And so it's not going to be a traditional right-of-way agreement I don't forgot the name now. It escaped my mind. Yes, thank you. It's going to be it's going to basically be a licensing agreement where we will have rights to the property, and then if for any reason either party can terminate with like 3 months notice, and we would have to find another location for the sign. But we felt like that was the best way and the least hurdles to get people to agree to allow us to put the sign on their property. So 2 of these locations are one of them is residential property, one of them is Norfolk Southern, and 2 of them are on commercial property. So hopefully we'll have that, all the I's dotted and T's crossed. David Mecklin and I emailed some last week, putting the final stamp of approval on the document. And then at that point, it'd have to come to the city council for them to vote on it and all of that. So,
Do these right-of-ways come with a financial cost to the city?
no, the way we structured them, we're not, if they do, most of the people we've already talked to about it, so they're fine. Some of them are, like one of the properties are owned by Tom Large, so we've already talked to him about that. The other property is owned by the church there on South Carroll, right there next to the spa. One of them's Norfolk Southern at 61, where you come in there, and the other one is in the Triangle, where we put up all the stuff, political signs and all that. So they're pretty much, other than the church and the Tom Large property, most of it's places where we already put up a ton of stuff anyway. So we don't anticipate any problems, but you never know until it gets time to start signing documents.
And you were saying that the sign company will be ready to go once we finish crossing I's and dotting T's. Is that they'll be ready to go for production or installation?
Yeah, well, there'll be production. They've sent the plans that we've let the city engineer is looking at now to approve, because they have to have breakaway and all of that stuff. And, I know it's got to be there, but I don't know what it's supposed to look like. So he's looking at them now. We'll bring them back to you all, let you look at them one final time, and then they'll be ready to actually manufacture them. They have sent, now the other part of it is the directional signs, which have to go to GDOT. So they're doing that part as well. So that approval has to go simultaneously with the other signs. So, because everything we're putting would be on the DOT, GDOT right away, so they'll have to approve all the signs that we put up on 78 and 61. So it's not very easy. If it was all city streets, we'd be done with this thing a long time ago. You just got to do what you want. But it's been a lot of red tape. But once it gets done, this is a project that's been 25 years in the making. So I think people will be happy with it once we get it done. And then the only other thing, which is kind of new business and old business, is the appointment. We had one application from Brian White, which I think that Jerry, you and Bill know well. So I don't know if y'all want to shed any light or feedback or information?
He's real interested in wanting to be a member.
Okay.
Yeah.
He'll make us a good member. He's a local businessman, been in business here for probably 8, 9 years now. He owns 2 businesses here in town. He and his family are rooted here pretty good. And so I certainly recommend that we recommend to the city council at the earliest possible date to ratify him as a member.
Okay.
The only question I have is on his application, he marked yes to having conflicts that would get in the way of this, his participation in the board, but he didn't explain what. I don't know if he meant to put no on there, or if he just forgot to put on there. Question says, do you have any employment or contractual relationship with the city that would create a continuing or frequently recurring conflict with regard to your participation on a board? And he marked yes on that. So I don't know if he has city contracts or something, or if he just
I don't know of
messed
any.
up and meant to put no on there.
I don't know of anything like that.
Yeah. So
with
maybe if we can
Brian.
just clarify that he just actually meant to say no on that, or find out what he was meant on that.
Okay.
That's the only, just because, they wouldn't ask that question if it didn't mean something, so. Other than that, he looks good to me.
Okay, so we had a motion from Bill. Do we need a second there?
I'll second it as long as that question doesn't get in the way of him being appointed. It's question H.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're with the stipulation, that they find out why he marked yes for possible conflict,
Yeah, well, that'll be fine.
that's your second.
Yeah.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor? And Chris, you'll check into that then.
Yes, sir.
And this is gonna be on for Thursday's work session, or is it too late?
Yeah, no, this won't be on until January.
Okay, moving on down to number 6, new business. You probably got the same question I do, but go ahead.
Okay, so I know you had indicated, Carl, that you would like to go to the training for the Mayor's Day, the required DDA training.
Yes, I have not been to training yet.
Okay, and then you also want to go on that day?
No, I was gonna do, there was, on a previous packet that we had received, there was a follow-up date. We had talked about my term is a shortened term for this one. I'm filling a vacancy that's not a full term.
That's fine, I
So,
just want to make sure.
Yep, no, we'll look at scheduling that next go around.
Okay.
And what was that date again?
January 20th, it's a Saturday. It starts at 8:15, goes to 4:14. It's in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as I get signed up early, because last time they were out of space.
That's what you're doing right now.
And ask for an appropriation of $265 to send him to
All
training.
right.
Okay.
Do we need a motion for that?
So moved.
All right, we got a motion to send Mr. Carl to training. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, I've got one under new business. On our December meeting, we usually don't have a meeting. We usually have a eat-out meeting. Is everybody in favor of that?
Suits me.
All right. What dates are good? I got the 14th. I got something on the 14th, which is the second Thursday, I believe it is. What's good for you, Tracy?
I have a meeting on the 12th and the 19th.
I'm pretty much open.
All right.
Yeah, my days are pretty open. My evenings are pretty open anyway.
If we could steer clear of the 21st or 22nd.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a little late, probably.
Yeah, that's
So we want to go the week of, I don't have a calendar in front of me.
Hey,
Let's see, the 10th through the 15th, is that right?
Mhm.
Or the 18th through the 22nd, which is better?
I think the 10th through the 15th.
10th through the
Sometime
15th.
that week, yeah.
Okay, I got something on the 14th, so
I'm going to check the
13th?
place and see what's available for the accommodation.
I think Olive Tree can accommodate us. Pretty sure they could, especially if we let them know pretty quick. because they always work with us. They'll put us in a corner if they have to.
The 12th is a Tuesday night.
Is the 12th good for everybody?
Works for me.
But y'all can't.
Well, what about Monday, the 11th?
Everything's closed on Monday, aren't they? Most
Olive Tree's
Olive Tree open on Monday?
Yeah.
Monday, the 11th works.
Works for me as well.
All right, sounds good to everybody, Monday the 11th. 6:30, is that good?
Mhm.
Well, I will call Olive Tree in the morning, Monday the 11th at 6:30 at Olive Tree. We tried Gabe one time, but you gotta have somebody there, and they don't take reservations, and Olive Tree will work with us, so.
You just got to know the right people over there. So
I thought I did. All right, we'll move down to number 7, public comment. Sharon, you got anything? All right. Item for future agenda.
I have one. I just wanted to give you all an update on some changes that are happening. Hold on, let me put this in my phone. Otherwise, I'll forget and won't show up. We're doing some reorganization of DDA, Main Street Tourism, and everything else. Today, Janet Chumley, which some of y'all probably know, she worked in Parks and Rec. She officially came over today. She's the new Main Street manager for the city. And hopefully, once the budget passes on November the 5th, it gets signed off with a tourism manager that will start sometime in 2018 to help alleviate all of this workload that we have going on and all these projects that we have. So just wanted to keep y'all updated with those transitions. Another thing that we've put in the budget that will somewhat affect DDA is we're proposing right now there's $125,000 in 2018 to do sidewalk improvements specifically for downtown. So hopefully that makes it through the budget process, and we'll stay in there and we'll be doing some work from an aesthetic standpoint, and we're projected to keep that level for the next 3 years. So for the next 3 years, we'll have money to spend on much needed improvements on sidewalks, stuff like that in downtown.
Since you brought that up,
I figured this question was coming.
Sure.
we had a meeting with the city council several years ago, probably 5-6 years ago. And this was when we had a Main Street separate from the organization we have now. But the design committee came up with a design for sidewalks on certain streets downtown, like Montgomery Street and Main Street would be a category where there were a lot of pavers involved, and the connecting sidewalks from Wilson Street and Church Street coming into those streets would be lined with pavers. And we started off with that parking lot over at the corner of Wilson Street and South Carroll. And if you look at that particular sidewalk, that was the first one that was done that way. And so the agreement was, and I'm not sure anybody at City Hall pays any attention to these, but that was the agreement, was to continue that. And if you look at the walkway that goes down through the railroad park, it's a continuum of that. So I would like for us to try to maintain a semblance of planning and commitment to do what we set out to do, rather than having a hodgepodge of just randomly done things.
Well, it won't be a hodgepodge by any means. I'm not sure the plan you're talking about. From my perspective, you have to balance aesthetics and functionality and maintenance, and I think that's what people miss out on, is when you get to the maintenance part of it, and you don't have money to repair stuff, you know, quite frankly, I love the train park, but if that park isn't maintained, or that sidewalk isn't maintained, I mean, you can already see that there's already some issues with that park now with the sidewalk. So, you know, I generally don't recommend something that isn't going to have longevity or doesn't fit functionally, because sometimes you can get caught up in these aesthetics things, and then it's 10 years from now it looks like crap because you have to continuously pump money into it. So we don't have a concrete plan. In my thought process, my thing would be just to continue the sidewalk that's at the that's around the amphitheater. So it's aesthetically it's attractive. It's not just concrete. They're brick pavers, but it's easier to maintain. It's if the bricks break, you can just pull one up, put another one back in.
Well, that is what these are.
Well, see, up there, that's brick paver, a continuous brick paver. So they start to sink, some of them, and they don't maintain their levelness. And then grass grows in between them. You can see I don't know if when you go out to get in your truck, you'll see what's around the amphitheater. But I mean, at some point we'll have a plan. We don't have the renderings or the plan or what all that's going to look like now. That will all come, once the funding. I just wanted to make you all aware to keep you in the loop with what's going on with that.
Well, I would prefer not to get into a situation like we did with the library. We had a commitment for the library at one time too.
Right.
And all of a sudden, everybody forgot about it that was in a decision-making position.
I can't speak to the
Right.
library.
And-
They had already
and-
broke ground by the time I got here.
I understand that, Chris, but things like this don't happen overnight.
Sure.
It is a progressive thing, and if you don't have a good commitment by the city council and the mayor and the manager and everybody associated with it for a long-term plan, then it doesn't get done.
I certainly understand that.
And you understand that, for sure. So I am just asking that we don't just all of a sudden come out of left field with something else, that we try to maintain aesthetically what looks good, but certainly it's got to be functional, but it needs to look good also. It's part of it.
I agree.
Okay.
Anything else for me?
Where did we get to? Executive session? We talked
Yep.
to Miss Stacy. Miss Stacy, Chris said he didn't think we'd need her tonight, so we let her have the day off. We have a motion to adjourn the DDA part of the meeting.
So move.
All right, have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Did you get the second, Tracy? You got the second.
You have to look at them.
All right, we'll call the Convention and Visitors Bureau meeting to order. It is 6:43. Has everybody taken a chance to look over the meetings from that meeting? If so, do I have a motion? You have those, Bill?
So move, yeah.
I know whether I got them all to you or not.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right, I've got a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor? All right, moving down to number 3, financial report. Mr. Carl? All right.
And this, I just realized I printed out for the year instead of going back to when we started like I usually do, but since the beginning of the year, you'll see that we've actually had spent more than we've made, but we had some expenses we had to catch up on at the beginning of the year, and had some that have come through recently, but we're still okay with money in the bank. I forgot to look to see what was in the bank account, but it's fine right now. That's a technical accounting term, fine. But now there's plenty of money in the bank. Now, one thing I have noticed to the collections, we were supposed to be getting more from the city now, and our collections have not really reflected that. The past, like October's for deposit for September was 5,800 or 5,877. The month before that was 5,429, and the month before that was 4,976. So it's been like a steady right around 5,000 to 5,500. So I haven't seen a jump yet with the extra percentage we were supposed to get. I don't know if you know anything about that, Chris. Have you?
Yeah, the city noticed that as well. We've actually have a proposal from the Georgia Municipal Association. They come and do a hotel motel audit. So we think some hotels are doing what they're supposed to be doing and some are not. This is the best way to put it. So GMA has been very, very successful in going and doing these audits and actually recuperating back funds from hotels that haven't been paying. But we don't think that the collection is correct from a city side or what's getting sent to the DDA. So we'll keep you updated. I was going to talk about that in the new business, but we feel like that will change tremendously once we get that process done. Of course, we also haven't received started receiving money from the new hotel yet either, so that'll change a lot too. And they've been sold out several nights since they've been open too, so
We should see a big jump from that.
yeah.
And that should start in, I guess, October, the next check.
Yeah, the next check we should probably start seeing that money coming in.
This only shows through September's taxes. We haven't received the October check yet.
Where is that on the,
That's all up in the income part. It's that total of 49,840. I've got the detail here. I didn't print out
okay.
everybody a
I
detail
just didn't
sheet.
see it on my sheet. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's what that 49,000 is. That's the collections this year. So that represents 10 months, December of last year through September of this year.
Any questions from Carl? If not, we'll move on down to number 4, tourism. Any old business?
Tracy, what does that mean, by the way?
Have you had that on there, so.
Oh, I thought you put. I don't remember that on there.
No, this is the original basis.
Oh.
So we could take it off.
Yeah, I was just. I don't think. I just leave it on there. It's always on there. I didn't know what that meant.
I'll let you know because that was one of your headings you had. So okay, you got stuff to throw under it.
All right, we'll move down to old business then. Move on down one more, new business. You said you had something, Chris?
Well, I was going to talk about the audit, but I've already
Covered
talked about
everything
it.
you-
Yeah.
I stole your thunder.
No, that's fine. I mean, I just wanted to make sure we were aware, and I'll let you all know, what direction the city goes in on that. But I feel pretty confident the city manager is pushing it pretty hard. I mean, he wants to do it. So
How many motels do we have here that are subject to that now?
we're up to 7 now. 7. We have one that is technically a hotel, but is operating as not as a hotel, and they're not paying hotel motel tax at all. So
But the extended stay hotel,
yeah,
how does that get out of it?
it doesn't.
Oh, they just choose to get out of it?
Yeah,
If we go through with this audit, they may have a big tax bill coming their way.
they probably are not going to be very happy.
I wondered about,
they're on the list that we submitted. So
yeah. Now, we have only one of those.
yes, sir.
Is that the one downtown here?
Yes.
We actually have two, don't we?
Well, yeah, there's one out on by the bypass,
Yeah, then there's
but
one.
they're all right. And then there's one downtown.
Oh, that's not all right,
Right.
likely.
Likely. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it'd be on the recording. We didn't name names. We didn't name
Right.
names.
All right, moving on down to,
However, everybody knew what we was talking about because they're the ones that said it, not me.
all right, any public comment? Item for future agenda? No executive session? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Sounds good to me.
Got a motion from Bill, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Look like everybody got it.
That was a pretty good meeting.
Yes, sir.